against USC. That was just such a special moment for you guys to pull off the win there.
It all felt surreal. Then Caitlin Clark's jersey's being retired. We just beat USC. Juju's sitting over there. It was like so many things going.
The basketball world has been rocked by Lucy Olsen's choice to join the Indiana Fever, which stands out at Villanova and Iowa. Olsen has demonstrated that she is among the most dynamic guards in the game, and for those who have watched her career, her move makes perfect sense as she now teams up with Caitlin Clark in Indiana. She can thrive in a fast-paced system, is a dynamic scorer, and is a fierce defender, but what ultimately led her to choose this choice?
The season went so fast, and senior year, everything just feels different.
Yeah, and you made a big move your senior year. It was bold, it was brave, you decided to transfer. How was that? Like, what went into that decision making, going off of a great season that you had at Villanova and then thinking, you know what, this is my time, I might need to try something new, go somewhere else?
Yeah, a bunch of things went into it, but I think just with the women's basketball exploding right now, and there were so many opportunities, and I only had 1 year left, so it was kind of like, well, let's just see what can happen.
Olsen finally talked about why she's joining the frenzy in a recent interview, and her reasons are revolutionary. She wasn't just searching for a team, rather, she was looking for the right fit, and according to Olsen, Indiana met all of her requirements from other teams, but something about the state stood out, including the coach, the culture, and of course Caitlin Clark.
The transfer portal is something that's relatively new, right? So you put your name in there, and then you started getting calls. And you were kind of ignoring them, I heard. You were scared to pick up. And then you got the call from Coach Bluter. What was that like?
Yeah, well, I didn't know who was calling because there's just all these random numbers calling. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to wait, let them ring through, and then I'll listen to the message and see who they are. It was also around like finals time in school. So there was so much going on. I'm like, I don't want to pick up every single call because who knows how long these coaches are going to talk, and then I'm going to run out of time, but I want to make sure I get back to everyone. So I was trying to figure out all that, and yeah, Coach Bluter called, and
since Olsen has already played against Clark, she is aware of her exact style of play and wants to support her because, let's face it, there isn't a better guard in the WNBA right now than Clark. Her passing is excellent, her shooting is unstoppable, and her leadership is already at the highest level, so Olsen couldn't pass up the chance
to go higher, play at in a big conference, but I didn't know who was going to call and yeah, who was going to want me or need me, like that type of thing. So I just went into it like, all right, let's see what happens. And then yeah, Iowa was one of the first.
Indiana wanted her to coach because she wanted to be a part of something great, a club that is growing, a franchise that is preparing for the future, and most importantly, a place where she can thrive. With Clark leading the charge, Stephanie White has been creating something significant in Indiana. The Fever have completely transformed their identity, going from a team that struggled year after year to one of the league's most exciting young squads. Now that Olsen has joined the mix, they have added another high IQ player who can contribute right away. But Olsen's choice was not just about basketball. It was about playing in a system that allows her to be herself.
Did she say that sold you? Was there anything specific?
No, nothing specific, but it was, you could just like feel the culture through the...
She was well known at Iowa for her ability to produce huge plays and manage the tempo score in crucial situations, and Indiana will be a fantastic fit for her skill set. Caitlin Clark is one of the best playmakers in the world, but every great point guard needs a trustworthy backcourt partner, and Olsen is going to be just that. She can handle the ball, create her own shot, and stretch the floor with her three-point shooting. This is a huge win for Indiana, who are already among the WNBA's most exciting young teams, and having two players like Olsen changes everything. It means that the Fever can run even faster, push the tempo, and turn games into track meets, and most importantly, it means they're assembling a team that can compete for years to come. If there's one thing Olsen made plain in her interview, it's that she's here to win. She chose Indiana not just because of Clark, but because she believes in what they're creating and understands that this is a long-term decision rather than a one-season experiment. She isn't merely joining Indiana as a role player, she is prepared to make an impression right away. She brings her guts, her desire, and her ability to step up in crucial situations, and when you add that to what Indiana already has, this squad becomes even more formidable. Clark and Olsen are going to be one of the most dynamic backcourts in the WNBA, and with Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell holding down the front court, the Fever are looking like a serious playoff contender. And here's the thing, this isn't just about this season, it's about building a dynasty. Indiana isn't just trying to make the playoffs, they're trying to compete for championships, and when you look at what they've done over the past 2 seasons, it's clear they're on the right path. They went from being a bottom-tier team to one of the most talked-about franchises in the league. They've stacked their roster with young talent, and now with Olsen in the mix, they're even deeper, faster, and more dangerous. And Olsen knows exactly what she's walking into. She knows that all eyes will be on this team. She knows that the expectations are higher than ever, but she's ready for it. And when the Fever take the court this season, they're not just going to be another team, they're going to be the team to watch. Clark, Olsen, and the rest of the squad are on a mission, and from everything we've seen so far, it's going to be must-at basketball. Olsen's choice to join Indiana was well thought out. She didn't just pick a team, she chose a legacy in the making. Given the way she plays, this move makes too much sense. She excels in high-tempo offenses and can score from anywhere on the floor. Now that she's playing with the best playmaker in the WNBA, things are going to take a whole new level. And the other WNBA teams better pay attention, because this Fever team is coming, and they're coming fast. Olsen knew exactly what she was doing when she chose Indiana, and she's ready to prove to the world why it was the right choice. Lucy Olsen's choice to join Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever is more significant than just another gifted player looking for a new home. It's the next step in what is rapidly turning into one of the WNBA's most dangerous teams. For the past year, everyone has been watching Caitlin Clark's transition to the professional ranks, and she has been setting records, and rightfully so. The Fever's front office has been strategically creating something bigger with every move they've made. The message has been clear that they aren't here to just compete, they're here to dominate, and Lucy Olsen joining this team is the next step in making it a reality. This is changing the culture and drawing attention to the game to a new level, but many people lack this awareness. This goes beyond Caitlin Clark receiving assistance at last. Since Clark is a generational talent, this is about Indiana positioning themselves for years of consistent success. However, even the best players in history require the proper support system. Scottie Pippen was owned by Michael Jordan. Klay Thompson had been with Steph Curry. Caitlin Clark and Lucy Olsen have a partnership that will be exciting not only because of their skill sets, but also because of how well they complement one another. Clark is a high-volume scorer, an elite passer, and someone who draws attention whenever she touches the ball. Olsen, on the other hand, is the type of player who thrives off high IQ basketball. She is a deadly shooter, a clever off-ball mover, and someone who can make defenses pay the moment they make a mistake. Just consider how difficult it was to guard already. Last season, the defense had to constantly throw double teams at Caitlin Clark in the hopes that it would slow her down. However, if you focus too much on Clark, you're leaving Olsen open on the perimeter, which isn't a mistake teams can afford to make, because she's not just an extra option, she's an elite scoring threat on her own. Indiana needed someone who could relieve some of the pressure on Clark and give her more room to operate, forcing defenses to pick their poison because, let's face it, there is no ideal defensive strategy when you have 2 dynamic guards who can shoot passes and create their own offense. The Fever were already among the league's fastest teams, but they are on the verge of being unstoppable in the transition. Imagine fast breaks where Clark is driving the tempo. Clark has one of the best court visions in the game, and now she has a backcourt teammate who knows exactly how to run the floor. It's going to be a nightmare as Olsen runs to the corner and the defense is unsure of who to cover. However, Olsen's influence goes beyond simply the offense. One of the most significant upgrades Indiana needed this season was, guess what? One of Olsen's best qualities is his defensive toughness. She is an unrelenting on-ball defender who can put pressure on the perimeter, obstruct passing lanes, and make opposing guards' lives miserable. Given how much she already had to do offensively, Clark was frequently asked to guard the rival team's best backcourt player during the previous season. However, with Olsen in the mix, Indiana now has more flexibility. Olsen can handle some of those more difficult defensive responsibilities while Clark concentrates more on leading the offense, which is crucial since the less energy. The more energy Clark has to devote to fighting through screens and chasing down elite scores, the more she can dominate games offensively. That's the kind of minor but significant change that elevates a good team to a great one. And let's not forget that the Fever added Natasha Howard, a seasoned forward with 3 WNBA titles, to anchor their defense. With Kelsey Mitchell still among the league's most underappreciated scorers, Aaliyah Boston's young star center will only become better, giving them depth, variety, and a real chance to make a deep playoff run. Olsen understood all of this before making her decision. She didn't just want to play with Caitlin Clark. She wanted to be a part of a team that could win championships, and that's exactly what the WNBA is building right now. However, let's look at the bigger picture because this move isn't just about this season. It's about Indiana creating a dynasty. 2 years ago, this team was at the bottom of the league, struggling to win games, and receiving no national attention. Now, they are the most talked about team in the WNBA. They have the best young talent in the league. They're filling their roster with wise additions, and they're positioning themselves to dominate for years to come. And best of all, they're not finished with the way Indiana's front office has been making moves. You can bet that they aren't satisfied yet. They're going to keep adding pieces, develop their young talent, and keep working toward one goal, winning championships. Olsen saw all of this and knew she wanted to be a part of it. She could have gone anywhere, picked a team where she would be the obvious #1 pick and receive more touches, shots, and individual recognition, but instead she chose to win, picked a system that was ideal for her style of play, picked the opportunity to play with the game's best young guard, and most importantly, she chose to be a part of something special because the Indiana Fever are creating a legacy rather than merely a team. And with Caitlin Clark at the forefront and Lucy Olsen filling in as the ideal backcourt partner, Legacy is poised to dominate the WNBA. Olsen's choice to enroll at Indiana could be the deciding factor. When the season begins, Caitlin Clark and Lucy Olsen will be putting the league on notice, and for Indiana, this is just the beginning. That's all there is to it. But before you leave, let's take a moment to truly appreciate this team. The Fever now have everything they need: scoring, defense, leadership, depth, and a coach like Stephanie White who knows exactly how to develop young stars. What's going on here? Lucy Olsen's choice to join Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever isn't just another off-season move, it's a game changer. This kind of move changes the WNBA's power dynamics and elevates a franchise from a good franchise to a legitimate championship contender. Consider this. We're already creating something unique with Clark Aaliyah. Boston with Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard, and Sophie Cunningham joining the mix. This team is looking really formidable. We're talking about elite shooting. The real question is, are the Indiana Fever officially the team to beat in 2025? If you're a fan of the Fever, you better get ready because this is just the beginning. What do you think about Lucy Olsen joining the Fever? Is this the missing component for Indiana to take over the league? If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single update on Caitlin Clark in the future of the WNBA.